Hello, Giants fans. Welcome to Giants Baseball 101. I'm Gabe Vaughn, your host. We're having a special video tonight for the purpose of answering a couple of questions. Both have come from the same fan, and so we're just going to jump right into them. The first one is, do you think that the Giants need Cody Bellinger more than another decent starter? And before I really jump into the conclusion on that one, I first want to bring to anyone's mind who might have seen the most recent headline on the San Francisco Giants official website, just basically what that means. Well, what did I tell you about the Giants trading Mitch Haniger specifically to the Mariners? I mentioned a real positive yesterday. I mentioned a real positive with that might be that the Giants actually look for another outfielder. And what seems to be the case right now? Well, you look on the official San Francisco Giants website, and the headline article right there on the front page says, with Haniger gone, the Giants need to find some pop. It's got this picture of Farhan Zaidi with a big cheesy smile on his face, and it looks like he's all stirred up and ready to action. A classic picture of Zaidi when he is just at his highest. And it although it doesn't specifically mention Cody Bellinger by name, it is still encouraging because clearly the Giants are going to look for another outfielder, or they're going to keep that on their list of possibilities. And before, it was thought that they were already kind of loaded up on outfielders, but now they are going to actually look for another outfielder. Like, the search is on right now as we speak. And who is the top guy kind of right now on the free agent market? It is Cody Bellinger. And my hope is that the Giants' response to this will be just a total thing of wanting to shop at the top of the market in the outfield, just like pretty much everywhere else, and that they will actually get into the race for Bellinger and pursue him. Now, the annoying thing about that article is, as some of you might guess, it really presents the need for finding an outfielder, or at least the real reward that would bring as a direct result of Haniger leaving. And it's presenting it as if Haniger's departure is what's creating a hole there in the outfield. And it even mentions Haniger's pop with the bat as something that needs to be replaced. And I will just say here that kind of pop that Haniger brought to the Giants is just, it's not what gets the Giants to the playoffs. It's that simple. And so the way it's presented is Haniger's departure is what created a hole in the outfield. But I'm saying the hole was always there. That's what we need to recognize. And unfortunately, I apologize to all fans who are just like me, being a huge fan of Brandon Crawford, at short, but we just have to realize, I mean, there's just no option B here. We have to realize that Crawford, that the hole at shortstop, too, it wasn't created by Crawford's departure. It was always there. And the only difference here is that Haniger is a player that the Giants never should have really been just kicked into the position of having to rely on. But that's just the old story of last bad offseason, and we're not going to revisit that. But so Haniger's departure didn't create this hole. It was always there. But at the end of the day, what does it matter? The Giants realize it's there. The Giants realize what they need, and that's that. So let's just be happy. And we hope that the front office has finally learned their lesson and that they need to not try to get things done, but actually get them done. And that's going to come up again when we talk about Kyle Harrison, which I'm going to get to. But first, I just want to make very clear, as far as an actual answer to the question, though, do the Giants need Bellinger more than another decent starter? The answer to that would be no. I think their first need is more starting pitching. And let me just be abundantly clear with Robbie Ray. I hope no one would look at this and think that the problem's been solved, or that like the Giants got their starting pitcher. As excited as I am about Robbie Ray, we have to keep the whole con in its proper place. We have to give it its proper place. The basic fact that Ray will not be available until the second half of 2023. So just let that fact stand on its own. The Giants, they're going to need starting pitching help before that. Our hope is that they'll just build themselves to a point of being a super duper elite team in the second half when Ray does join. And hopefully that includes getting guys at the trade deadline. But the Giants, their starting pitching, it does have to be upgraded before that. That's a fact. So another starting pitcher, and I mean a good one too, even if it means taking a risk on a guy like Blake Snell and signing him to a ton of money, that is what they've got to do. And yes, it is their first need. However, to say that they can't do both of those things would be, well, it would just be a contradiction of the truth, because if we just take all the reports, take everybody at their word, that the Giants really did match the offers for Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the guys that the Dodgers ended up getting, whatever you think about whether it's the Giants' fault they didn't get them, it's just, we're not really talking about that right now. But if it's true, they matched those offers, then they should absolutely be able to sign 2 or 3 more superstar free agents. So it's not like there's just one thing they have to do and stick to it. They should have a lot of options here. They really should. And I just don't buy this nonsense about the Giants not being able to get any free agents because San Francisco is such a bad place, or they just don't like the Giants, or, I just don't buy that. So I hope that's good. I hope that answers that question. And now we're going to go to Kyle Harrison. The question on him is, will he have a decent season in 2024? And that's a really good question. And it really just brings back a lot of the past here on how things have gone with Giants prospects. And some have disappointed, some have actually developed. I think the question on Harrison, is he going to develop into an elite major league starting pitcher? And if he is going to do that, how long is it going to take him? And he's a top prospect. Do top prospects sometimes disappoint? Yeah, but at the end of the day, they're seen as the future for the team. And Harrison, a lot of stock has been placed into him in just a bunch of ways. He's not seen as a guy that can be traded. He's not seen as a guy that can be traded easily. Like, they're not gonna trade him like at this year's trade deadline, like, unless a lot happens, and I'm not even sure what. He's seen as someone they have to hold on to, because he's seen as just like, I think their very top pitching prospect right now. He's a very valuable prospect and is just considered critical to the future of the organization. Which means, of course, that it's going to be very important that he develops soon. And it could be huge for the Giants if he does. It could also be devastating if he doesn't develop soon. And he actually struggled in spring training last year, and then kind of worked to, develop and get stuff together in the minors. And he was fairly solid during 7 big league starts last year. He posted a 4.15 ERA. And I mean, that's solid, but it's not great. And it absolutely needs to get better. But all we've seen so far is a small sample size. As far as his strikeout and walk rates, his strikeout percentage was 23.8, so that's almost 24, so good strikeout percentage. His walk rate was about average at 7.5%. So those numbers, just I don't know honestly exactly what to make of them so far. And again, it is a small sample size, but we'll have to see how well he can manage those in the future, and how many guys he can strike out, and how he can really limit the walks here. So, I mean, whether he can have a good season, I would say for now there is really no reason not to be optimistic, as long as the Giants don't let that optimism make them think they don't need to use the free agent market. Because there's been a thing with Giants prospects, and I think just the way the direction of this organization needs to change, at least one of them, is that they need to be able to start developing prospects to become big league stars like sooner. Like it shouldn't be taking really as long as it is for guys to get aspects of their game together. And I feel like that's been an area that's kind of been lacking a little bit. And even Patrick Bailey, as good as he's been on defense, he really kind of just cooled off on offense like toward the end of the season. And I mean, at the end of the day, you do have to be able to score runs. I'm not at all saying that Bailey isn't promising. I'm not at all saying he couldn't improve with the bat and do more, but I'm just saying it's just a reality that the farm system, it's going to have to be able to score runs. So we'll pretty soon see how they did developing Kyle Harrison. And should he be guaranteed a spot on the team regardless of his performance in spring training? Absolutely not. He has to fight for his spot like everybody else. And at the end of the day, the Giants need to put all of their best players on the field. But let's be optimistic, and let's hope and assume the best on Harrison for right now, because if projections are correct, he could turn out to be an elite major league pitcher. He got to the big leagues young, for sure, like just pretty young relative to a lot of players, and that could factor in really well if he can get his game together and develop, because he'll just have a lot of good years ahead of him. But if all that really means, it would go the other way, obviously, if he's just an undeveloped player with too many issues for too long. Thank you for watching. This has been Giants Baseball 101. Please subscribe if you haven't. Also, please leave your questions and comments. You know where to do it. I'll see you next time on Giants Baseball 101.